magic dragon lived by the sea.
Okay, they have showed up. It's 1:15. Kennan's on his way over. He's gonna follow me over to the place. We'll drop the car off. And again, these are the Goodyear Eagle Sports, not the F1s. These are the high performance all season. The Eagle F1 is the ultra high performance all season. The snow ratings went way down, the dry ratings went up, and so did the price. This car can't perform probably enough to make use of those tires, so don't need them. Thankfully though, we have split folds, so all four of them fit back there quite handily. And it's warming up. This thing hasn't run for quite a while. But, oh no. We have a battery light. Shit, what does that mean? Alternator probably. Son of a bitch! I cannot get a break with this car. That is a new NSX in town. I was just saying, first one I've seen on public roads here in Hudson. It's got Arizona plates on it.
Oh, it's Tim then.
Yeah?
I bet you it's Tim.
111. Time for an update. I've been getting screwed all day. So the tires showed up today. I took it over to drop that off and have the tires mounted and balanced. And as I started it in the garage, as you saw, I think unfortunately in the last clip, I now have a beautiful Rosa Corsa red battery light on my dashboard, which to me has always meant, oh, there's a charging problem. You don't have adequate voltage to charge. So it was cold and windy and snowing off and on today. I didn't want to go out there with a multimeter and screw around outside for an hour trying to figure it out. AutoZone does free tests. So after I got the tires mounted and balanced, I took it over. They didn't get to do an alignment check, so I don't know if it needs an alignment. It's going back tomorrow at 2 to see if we need an alignment on that. So I went over to AutoZone. They did the free test. They said the battery voltage did not pass. The alternator charging with engine on did pass. So I took that to mean that the battery's bad. So it was an X-side battery, 730 cold cranking amps, dated March of 2010. So exactly 8 years old. That is the longest I've ever seen a battery go in person. Since 2010, that car's had well over 100,000 miles on it. So that battery did not owe me a dime. So I put a Duralast Gold in it, 790 cold cranking amps from March of 2018, probably February 2018 build. It's $219. The BMW dealer wanted an extra $10, and instead of 790 CCA, it was 590 CCA, which according to AutoZone's computers was 50 CCA below the factory recommended minimum of 640. So I'm not sure why they're selling a 590 when they're not recommending anything below 640. But I got a 790 in there. I have a very healthy 12.6 volts at the battery. However, my light is still on, and I don't see any way to reset that. I stopped by Lyric Motorsport, and I was informed that you don't have to reset it. It's kind of like a light bulb warning. When you have a light bulb warning, you take out the bad bulb, you put the new one in, and the warning goes away. It doesn't have an error memory. You don't have to reset it. So the light's still on, which indicates some sort of a problem. So if I have the engine idling with an average load, the radio's on, the HVAC's on low, heated seats are not, rear window heaters not, headlights are not, I have about 13.9 to 14.1 volts under the hood, which is within range. Everything says you want to be about 14 volts, and that's where I am. So I'm not sure why my light is still on it. It seems like the alternator is producing a constant voltage. However, that is likely the original alternator. It's 16 years old, 235,953 miles. It's a long time. So I'm trying to see if I can't get an alternator and put that in and see what that does. If you guys have any ideas about resets or anything, Bill from LMS told me you can do a hard battery reset by disconnecting both poles of the battery cable and then bridging them. The battery's not involved in this bridge, so you take off the negative, you take off the positive, you could take the battery out of the car if you want, then get a pair of jumper cables and just use one color, red or black, and bridge the vehicle's positive cable to the negative cable. That sounded like a bad idea to me. I googled it, and that does seem to be the case for a hard battery reset. So I did that, sat about 90 minutes. I went out, hooked up the terminals again, started it up, and I still have the light. So let me know what you think's going on. I really, really, really don't want to put a new alternator in there and pulleys and belts and then still have the same problem. On Steven's 2003 530, he had the light come on and his alternator was good and his battery was good, and he drove it like 2 years and the light just never went off and nobody could figure out why it was on. and I will not deal with that. I have no patience for that. So please, any insight would be very valuable. This evening, the Cavaliers traveled to Denver, Colorado to take on the Nuggets, led by 16, trailed by 4 in the fourth. They got a win, so shouldn't have gone that way, but it did. They came out with the win. Brad was here tonight with his friend Jenna, and Razvan and Sabrina. Megan's in New York, and Kennan's in Florida now. He has made it down to Jacksonville for the Amelia Island Concourse. I wanted to go to that, but it coincided with the travel plans coming up next week. Anyways, 1:15, it's time for bed. We'll talk tomorrow on, crap, what do we got? Thursday. We're going to do a alignment check on the 3 series. Hopefully hear about the alternator, see if I can get one, and maybe do some more diagnosis. So, okay, good night.